This is Destiny drilling Tracer. Tracer's about an 8.5-month-old cattle dog, something like that. And drilling the dog is very important. It doesn't matter how much training the dog has. You're always going to be doing this once the dog understands the command. They learn by repetition, and training is a lifetime of the dog. So although that this dog has just started doing this, practice makes perfect, and practice makes perfect for the dog and the handler. So right now we have a leash on Tracer because in a moment, you know, Tracer could probably do this without a leash, but we're going to use a leash, and we're going to use a leash to place between the legs. And, you know, you always go back to the leash, so it's very important that you understand how to use a leash. Notice how Destiny is using the leash, how she has her thumb in what most people use is the wrist hold. That's not for your wrist, it's for your thumb. And notice how she takes up slack on the leash when she's doing this. She's using her other hand and making sure that the dog's not tripping on the leash and it's getting caught up. So she gives it slack there, but she still is maintaining control the whole time. This is going to be very important when she starts working the dog with place between the legs. It's similar in that now the dog's coming to heel, but instead she'll open her legs up just slightly, and then the dog will go in between her legs and go in the down position. Place between the legs is great to teach a dog, a service dog for the subway, wherever, you know, it works great. You're checking out at Walmart or whatever, you need the dog out of the way, you can put a place between the legs in the down position. So it's used, you know, in competitions. It's used with protection dogs. It's just another thing that you can teach your dog to do. Watch this coming up here. Watch, Destiny's going to use her hand to like take up the slack, and there's going to be a detail on it. I want you to look at what she's doing with her hand. And that's coming up right after this. You can get a real good idea. Look at her hand right there. See what she's doing? She's taking up slack. Now watch this. Watch what she's doing here. Look at this. You see how she's running it through her hand? Practice this. This is, you know, it's leash technique. You have to practice this. You do not get good at this overnight. But you have to like take up slack. You can't let the dog be stepping on the leash. You have to, you know, have control of the dog, and how we do that is with leash technique. So remember that wrist hold, that's not a wrist hold, that's for your thumb. It's for your thumb. Never put your wrist in there. That's an indication that you have no idea what you're doing. The dog's going to drag you around. Now she's doing place between the legs. Now I want you to watch how she uses the leash to keep the dog from going too far forward. She wants the dog in the down position, but she doesn't want it out in front of her. So, see? So also, the dog might have a tendency, you know, at first, like, to go to heel, you know, or vice versa. If you're working, you know, heel and the dog's going into place, you need to be able to control the dog. So with this, see how she's keeping some tension on the leash as the dog is going into that position. This is exciting for the dog to do this command, so it is important that we use the leash some more. We're going to do it off leash, and you'll see that the dog just sort of like gets out of control and gets in a bad position. So remember that if you're having problems, you're probably going too fast. So see how the dog's doing it real good with the leash on? Remember, dog training is muscle memory. It's so much about muscle memory. So the dog's doing good. Was I 100% sure that the dog would screw up? I was pretty sure that the dog would screw up, but, you know, the videos are for educational purposes. So, but the dog does really good to a point. Destiny has real good control over the dog. But at the end, you can tell. Watch this. Now watch, the dog does good on the first one or two, right? Good. But then the dog starts figuring out that it's off leash. And you'll see by the third one, the dog's kind of sitting out in front of her. See, this one's good. This one's good. But she's going to screw up here. She's going to screw up. Not Destiny, the dog. Destiny's doing an awesome job here. See, right there. See how the dog's screwing up? Dog's screwing up. So Destiny put the leash back on the dog. Right? So she called the dog to heel. And now what she's doing here is she wants to end on a high note. So she's going back to what she was working on. And see how the dog's still a little bit excited because the dog figured out, but now the dog's figuring out that, oh, the leash is back on. So she's going to get some good, that one looks real good. And she's going to end up, quitting on a high note. She's going to get a few of these. My rule of thumb is generally get 3 in a row that are pretty good and then just quit. So that's what she's doing right now. Then the dog left early. So now Destiny's going to take the dog back to where its original position was. She's going to make the dog do it right.
Tracer, please.
And there you go. She did it right. We're going to quit.